So, AP season is over. You all have your post-AP programs, right? How are they going? Well, personally, I would be proud to say that I'm an extremely productive person. For about 45 minutes after I receive the program. That's when it's interesting. I think of ideas, I make plans, I schedule what I'm going to do for the next half a month. But then, I go home, I put the project away, and I forget about it completely. The next time I work on the project is likely the day before it's due, which is obviously under completely different circumstances. So what has changed? The project itself has never changed. It's my motivation that changed. Think of something that you all once loved and now don't. A game that you played as a child, the subject that you chose at the start of this year, or the job that you currently have. At first, it must have been exciting. You can't wait to play, to explore, and to learn new things. But through time, frustration crept in. The motivation turned into fatigue and anxiety. The common assumption here is, I don't enjoy this anymore. I need to find something new. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if the frustration that you feel is a signal that your brain is sending you, a signal that something should change? So let me first talk about how our brains work and why we enjoy something. Our brains are like explorers in a new land. Anything that's novel, things that are unpredictable or uncertain, it sends a flood of dopamine to your brain, which is the brain's reward chemical. Dopamine does three main things. It heightens motivation, it increases curiosity, and it engenders goal-directed behavior. Research actually shows that dopamine is not because of the pleasure itself, but more about the anticipation and the brain learning what you're supposed to expect. Now, let's go deeper on what's really happening inside the brain. Our brain's reward systems are focused in a circuit called the mesolimbic pathway. Neurons in the ventral tegmental area would send dopamine to signal the nucleus accumbens. When the brain encounters something novel, it uses this pathway to motivate you to learn and explore, and as a result, you're able to learn about new things, right? In new experiences, everything is novel. Your brain constantly asks, what will happen next? And when something that's better than what you expected happens, dopamine spikes. This is called a reward prediction error, the difference between what your brain expected and what really happened. The higher the reward prediction error, the higher the dopamine level tends to be. So that is why we're able to enjoy a lot of things that feel novel and new. And that would bring me to the end of my speech. Thank you for listening. Oh, why am I still standing here? Well, of course I'm still standing here. I'm not finishing my speech. It's been like 2 minutes. I've got more. You see, as I continuously lecture you about dopamine and the reward chemical, you feel bored and you lose your attention. But if I surprise you like just now, then you would start be curious again. You would ask, why did you stop? It's been 2 minutes. That's not a normal speech. You see, as your brain gets frustrated about something, it's not saying that this is no longer good anymore. It's saying, I already understand. This is why activities could remain value, but still feel frustrating because your brain has encoded it already. Now, think of the experience of starting a new video game. All the unexplored maps, the new mechanics, the games that you can play, and the achievements that you collect. That's what makes the whole game exciting. But as time passes, you learn all the techniques, and you grind through all the levels, and potentially become one of the best players in the game, you find that the game is starting to get boring. You don't enjoy it anymore because there's nothing left for you to do. The same thing happens with a lot of other activities as well. Listening to the same song for years would result in you feeling it's ordinary. A puzzle that you once loved might feel tedious after solving it for many times. Even a fixed menu in a restaurant might bore you out sometimes, especially in places like school cafeterias. You see, the activity itself never changed. It's your brain that has adapted to it. As a student, I like maths and physics. Yeah, I'm that typical Asian kid who's good in STEMs. But competition preparation was actually thrilling at first. I was able to learn new concepts and make progress all the time, and it gave me a sense of achievement. But then, when I started to grind through the months and even years of learning the same topic and preparing for the same contest, I started to feel frustrated and bored. And I didn't understand when I realized that. It was my favorite subject. I was supposed to feel good learning about it, not bored. And I concluded that I didn't like it because it was studying. No one likes studying, right? But then I had to overthrow that conclusion. There was a summer when I had a whole day of free time, and I decided to spend the whole day playing a game, like any normal kid would. But then, after a few hours, I found that the game started to get boring. I had to constantly either find a new game or just passively scroll through videos. And I did not understand completely this time because it was my favorite game. It was the single thing that I wanted to do whenever I got free time. So why did I not enjoy it anymore? To see if this was just my experience, I conducted a small survey myself, and as you can see, the majority of people agreed with me. They also got bored when things became repetitive. This matches cognitive research showing that repetitive exposure would result in a decrease in motivational and emotional response. This experience helped me learn that my frustration is not because something has lost its value. It's not because it's not beneficial anymore, but it's because the novelty and unpredictability had faded through time. We often think of motivation as something that's born innate, as something that's a personality or a trait that's stable. Like, this child couldn't do anything, and this child could finish his job. But that's not true. Motivation is dynamic, and it's changing through emotion, environment, and past experiences. The self-determination theory states that motivation is actually correlated with self-autonomy, competence, and social connection. Engagement is high when things feel novel and challenging, while it's low when things are repetitive or isolated. So frustration isn't a signal of you failing in perseverance. It's a signal to tell you that something has to be changed, that the novelty of the activity has faded. So what should we do? I can give you 3 solutions that's so easy you won't even believe it. So first, variation is the brain's reset button. Even a small change could result in the dopamine pathway working again, and as a result, you get more engaged and you improve your learning abilities. So try a new strategy in your game, or try to study in another way, or simply add a small twist to your daily routine. I have a friend who loves to play chess, and when he plays chess with me, he usually uses a weird opening that's definitely not classic. Of course, that didn't put him in an advantage, but although he didn't always win, we always had fun playing chess. Second, attention is a limited cognitive resource. You only have that much attention, so obviously, extended focus on anything would result in mental fatigue and exhaustion. So what should we do? Take periodic breaks. That would effectively restore your attention. Simple forms of breaks include walking, switching activities, or simply stepping away from what you're doing. Finally, humans are social learners. Other people can add uncertainty and new perspectives and feedback. So study groups are effective for a lot of people because it makes learning dynamic and it introduces new perspectives from other students. Multiplayer games are fun because your friends add that unpredictability that you need. Social interaction isn't just making things fun, it's reactivating your motivation. Now think back to that thing that you once loved and ask yourself, what happened? Is it because of repetition or slow progress or simply isolation? And could a small change help you fix that problem? Let's reframe frustration. It's not the end of your activity. It's a new start. It's the signal telling you that something needs to be changed and the novelty has faded. I took AP Psychology last year, and it helped me understand that my frustration is not random. It's following a known neurological, psychological pattern, and it's predictable. So that was when frustration became a signal to me and not a failure in my perseverance. Losing interest is natural for everybody.
because the brain's reward system is adaptive and not static. By introducing variation, taking breaks, or finding new friends, you could be able to rediscover what you once loved. So go home and open up your post-AP project and add that line that's interesting to the video that you have to film. It might just make it more interesting to do. And if you feel my talk is boring now because it's been 10 minutes, well, try watching it again in a few weeks. You might be able to rediscover it and learn something new. Thank you.